everybody. Welcome to our weekly question and answer and encouragement and support. And if you're watching on the replay, I just want to say thank you for being here. I really appreciate you supporting both the writers group and everybody in it. So today we are on our Writers Challenge series, part 4. And don't forget to let us know in the comments where you're watching from too. That's always cool. I always like to know where people are watching from, so I don't feel so all alone, just talking to nobody out there. I know you're there, but it's just nice to say hi. But today we're on. Um, Hi to Ken, from Central Illinois. Um, Today we're on part 4 of our Writers Challenge series, and I might go one more week on this, and we'll see. And anyway, today we're talking about how to remember your brilliant ideas because, when we're writing, we always have brilliant ideas. So let me know, how many times has this happened to you? You have a brilliant idea. It's amazing. And you're not in a place where you can write it down. So, what you do is you think, okay, I'm going to remember it. 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 And then you get home, or it's the middle of the night and it's like, I'm going to remember it. I'm going to remember it. And the next morning, it's gone. Or when you get home, it's gone. And it's like you have no idea what it was. So that's scenario number 1. Scenario number 2, which has happened to me more than many times, I do have a notepad and I have pens by my bed. And so if I get an idea in the middle of the night, I have to force myself and I will write it down. And I'm like, I've got it. I captured the idea. Awesome. And then the next morning, I look at my note, and I guess the pen either hadn't been clicked on, because in the middle of the night I can't be expected to remember everything, or it's a pen that it didn't start working. So you know how pens, you have to scribble with them sometimes. Ken says, I have a notebook that's divided and I write them in there. I have docs on my phone I can use. That's great. Awesome. I'm very proud of you, Ken, because um, I have notebooks and I have sticky notes. I do not have docs on my phone, I will say. I use Evernote, so I guess I do, but if I have something brilliant, I'll email it or message myself. Um, so anyway, so the one scenario is I've written it down, but either the pen hadn't started working yet or it wasn't clicked open, and then I don't have my brilliant idea. The one that I tend to do the most, because I'm wonderful in this way, is I will take my sticky notes and my pen and I will write the brilliant idea down on the sticky notes, go back to sleep knowing it's safe, get up the next morning and look at my sticky note and realize that I had already written something on that note. And now I have double writing on it, and I cannot figure out what I wrote, what the first note was, or what the second one note was. Maybe there's a word or two that I can make out, but for the most part, I've lost my brilliant idea. Tell me, has this happened to anyone? Please tell me I'm not the only one who's written something down, written over another note, or the pen wasn't working, or you just were too tired to get up and you didn't write it down. You knew you would wait, you would have it, but it was gone. So if I'm the only one, then that's pretty awesome. But I, I'm guessing there's a few more of you that this has happened to. So here's a few suggestions on how to remember your brilliant ideas. And it's important because most of the time we get these brilliant ideas, they're not when we're sitting at the computer, they're not when we're sitting down to write, it's when we're away from the computer. Like Ken said, he has docs on his phone or a notebook. Um, I usually get my brilliant ideas in the middle of the night or when I'm outside taking a walk or I'm in the car or doing something other than being in front of the computer. So, these are a few things that I'm going to suggest if you are challenged like I am on getting them at a time that's inopportune. But use your phone. Yeah, well, like Ken says he has docs on his phone, but you can also talk into your phone. You have a recording device in your phone, and you can just talk and say, "This is my brilliant idea." The other thing is you can text yourself or you can email yourself. Those are, because if you're in a place that you can't really talk, you don't want to start talking into your phone if you're going to disturb people, but you can always text yourself. You can always have docs on your phone that you use where you make sure you put that idea so it's safe. And, because like I said, these ideas come to us at sporadic times and, you got to be ready. Um, so using your phone is one huge thing. Another thing is always keep a notebook with you. And Ken says he has a notebook that's divided, and I do. I don't have one in here that I can show you, but I have small notebooks, and they are probably 5 by 7, and I have one in my bag that I carry with me. I have one by the dresser. I have one in different places. And I always have it with me. And also extra pens. Don't just carry one pen with you because if you only have one pen, Murphy's Law says that pen either won't work or it will just do something stupid. So always carry a couple extra pens and a notebook with you so that when you get these brilliant ideas, you have something to write them down with. Another idea is, well, first of all, never assume you're going to remember. I'm just telling you that right now. Never assume you're going to remember your ideas because, for the most part, any ideas that come at night, they're usually gone by the morning. And if you're out running around doing errands, the one thing that triggered the idea is that visual cue is gone. So, if you were driving somewhere and all of a sudden you see something that triggers an idea, by the time you come home, you might not remember. It's kind of like the one of those things where you're in the kitchen and you remember you got to do something, and then you leave the kitchen and you forget what you were gonna do, so you walk back into the kitchen and then you're like, "Oh, yeah, now I remember." So, those visual cues are really important. So if you're driving, you don't wanna talk into your phone, you don't wanna write the note down, but when you come, to a place that's safe and you're not driving, then definitely jot it down. I know some people use, voice activated text. They can text somebody. So you could voice activate text yourself if you have that option on your phone. Um, so, this isn't going to be a real long one today. It's just, I'm probably telling most people what they already know, but it's just the fact that we have to be reminded from time to time. Always have extra pens, extra paper, some sort of a device for recording our ideas. Does anybody have any questions? Ken, I know you're probably still watching. If anybody else is still watching, does anybody have questions? Anybody have ideas of how you have, other than like Ken's notebook and the docs on his phone, does anybody else have a way that you've captured your brilliant ideas before you've lost them? And I'll wait for a few minutes to see. I know it's the worst feeling in the world when you have a really great idea and you wake up with it. And for me, I can do a whole scene. I can have dialogue, I can have the scene, I can have all kinds of good stuff happening. But if I don't write it down, it's lost. Unless I get it like at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, which is, I'm fairly awake by then. I don't get up that time, but I mean, if I get it then, I'll be able to hold on to it. But if it comes at 2:33 in the morning and I go back to sleep, it's like one of those dreams you just can't remember. It's so close to remembering, but then it's gone. And it makes no sense. It's just so abstract it doesn't even, you know, make sense anymore. It's like, okay, you have a dog and there's a tree and there's some car that went whooshing by and that's it. And, at one point it was a really good idea, but now it's just random thoughts. So anyway, like I said, we're here just talking about ways to remember your brilliant ideas because if you forget them, you're gonna regret it. I'm gonna tell you right now, you're gonna regret it. You're gonna regret not writing it down. You're gonna regret not saving it. And that one idea will possibly never ever come back again. If you're lucky, it will. But if you're like me, it's gone forever. Ken says, I have a notebook next to me when I'm writing. If I get an idea from what we're working on, I jot it down in my work in progress book. Cool. So, do you have several different notebooks, Ken? It sounds like you have a work in progress book and then just a regular notebook also. Because I do that too. I have several notebooks. I have one that for my work in progress, and then I have one that has, it doesn't say brilliant ideas, but it has story ideas on it. And so if I have other ideas for other things, I'll make sure I write it in there. And then, of course, I have lots and lots of legal pads. Those are everywhere. I've got tons of those. But I prefer to have it in my little notebooks because they're very easy. And Ken says, yes, we do. And I have one for each of my work in progress. I do too. I have notebooks for each of my works that I'm working on, or my books that I'm working on. And they all have the name of the book on the outside. And then that way, I mean, I usually work on only one book at a time, but after I finish that book, then it's like all the ideas that were from that book are in there, and all the characters are in there, and all that good stuff. So, anyway, so that's about all I have today. I am going to go live again. See, Ken says, I used to use legal pads and have a box filled with them. Yes, I know. I have lots of legal pads too, and I found that the little notebooks work a whole lot better, and they're just easier and a little more sturdy. Because somehow with legal pads, you tear the pages out, and then you just got a lot of pages everywhere, and it's kind of a mess. So I'll be going live again next week, and then after that, I won't be going live like this. I'll probably just be checking in because all my kids will be in town for Christmas and the week before and the week after Christmas. So anyway, like I said, I'm not sure if I'm going to do another challenge series next week or if anybody has questions or if you have a topic that you want me to go through. Also, some of you have responded. I have put a poll inside the group asking when the best time for me to go live. And I know a few of you have actually marked the times that are going to be helpful to you. So let me know, because I mean, if there's a better time for me to go live when everyone can, well, not everyone, I know not everyone will participate, but for more people to participate, I want to do that too. Ken said, can you use index cards? You can. I mean, index cards were what we used. Well, I used when I was in high school. That was a big deal, especially for doing reports and all that good stuff. But index cards would work. I know a lot of writers that use index cards, and then you put them in a, index card holder, one of those little index boxes, metal boxes, or something like that. It doesn't make a difference to me using index cards. You could take those. I mean, like I've got all kinds of index cards. I've got, like these are what 4x6s, 4x6s, and so I've got index cards, and index cards are pretty easy to take with you. You can stick them in your back pocket or a bag or something like that. Just make sure you have a couple of working pens because you don't have something to write with, then you know it's hard to get that note down. But yes, anything that works. I mean, like I said, the whole thing is just to get it down. Even if you jot a couple of notes, jot down two or three ideas for that brilliant idea, and then it'll jar your mind, your memory back to remembering what it was. So, anyway, I am going to say thank you for being here, and thank you for everyone watching the replay. And I will catch you again next week. Take care.